Hey babe, welcome back to the Pleasureful Podcast. This is Lauren from Lauren Likes It Like That. I am a feminine energy coach that helps women tap into their feminine energy so that she can and you can balance your feminine energy with your masculine energy, because our feminine so often, way too often, I know for myself, I know through my own experience, that our feminine gets suppressed, and therefore we are using way too much masculine energy trying to control all the things. So I'm really here to help women tap into their feminine energy and build this trust with our feminine and allow ourselves to flow a little bit more in life, because there gets to be both. And a lot of times it just seems too scary to trust in this flow of life because of the way we're conditioned to think so masculine and analytical and controlling and must know the next steps before we really try or do anything. So I'm coming at you from Mexico. If you're watching the YouTube video, we are here in my Mexico apartment, and I really want to talk today about how to lean into our feminine while still using our masculine, but how to lean into our feminine during a time of chaos and contraction, and how we can come through these hard times and allow ourselves to expand and create through them. Because this has literally, I'm only 2 weeks here in New Mexico, and I felt this so intensely the last couple of days that I just kind of want to share how I moved through it and how to really lean into the feminine, and then where the masculine structure also comes into place, because it is still very necessary, and it's necessary to have both, and to still though trust in our feminine and trust in that unknown in order to keep moving forward. So that's a little bit about that. I know that for me, I really believe that our feminine energy comes first for us, and this was an idea that was introduced to me through yin and yang. And because in this yin and yang, yin, which is the feminine, is like the container, and the yang is born out of yin. Whereas to reverse it, to get yin out of yang is harder. So I truly believe that our feminine energy comes first. This is especially as women, it comes first for us. There's this inkling, there's this intuition, there's this inner knowing. If you've ever kind of thought is this it for me? Things like that. That is the feminine. That is the nudge. And that comes first, and then we have some of the masculine that helps us do things, that helps us devote to the things that we want, that helps us take action. And then again, we revert back to our feminine to make sure we're slowing down, that we're resting, that we're finding this balance of doing and slowing down and evaluating, and making sure this is for the greater good, this has the right intention, that this is infused with love, all of these things. So I definitely moved to Mexico with this desire. This is the feminine, this desire to, I can't even really tell you where it came from, but what I can tell you is that from a young age, I grew up speaking Spanish, spoke Spanish all through high school and college, studied abroad, and I just am drawn to the Latin culture. I think it's that community and the expressiveness and the love and the sort of the femininity that is kind of woven into the culture. And so I always knew I wanted to live in Mexico, and I've been trying to, I kind of had this face-to-face opportunity with myself recently of why am I doing this? Why am I here? And I was oh yeah, I might not know the why right now, but what I am doing here as far as following my desire and starting to build community here, I'm okay, there's something about this, something is here for me, and I'm not sure what, but I'm willing to trust and embrace the unknown and actually surrender to finding out what it might be. So we shall see. But what I can tell you exactly from the last 2 weeks is that it has been a wild ride, because when I sold everything and in Austin, Texas, and decided to move to Mexico, I started staying at an Airbnb that was a big piece of masculine structure. It was safety, security, it had all the amenities and things that I needed. And that provided me a lot of flow. It provided me a lot of energy to be able to go out and about and explore, that I had energy for that I was taking care of my nervous system just by having a place that had the amenities that I wanted and needed right there. And things such as like, they have like great Wi-Fi, so I was able to like research things before I left the house and like wasn't left like just wandering aimlessly or whatever. They also had like a water filter, which was huge because I didn't even think about that, but that is something that is very necessary. And yeah, it was just safe, it was secure, it was a small, quaint, small Airbnb, so with just like a few other rooms. And so I felt really good staying there. And from that, I was able to find a really good coffee shop, talk to the woman there as I came in multiple days. And then even like the first morning that I was here, I got a coffee, not from that coffee shop in particular, but got a coffee, went to the beach and was like walking on the beach, and I kind of felt like, okay, like it's time to like start doing things. But I was like, chill out, you just got here, it's your first morning, you're just saying hello to the ocean. And I started walking up and I was like, yeah, but if I don't try to talk to people, like how am I ever going to actually do it? And, or like, what if it's a missed opportunity or things like that? So I was like, okay, well, it might be scary to try to talk to people or to try to like make friends or community, but it's worth doing. So here's what I mean by that. So I saw this guy, he had this really nice camera. He was taking pictures of surfers. And we both looked at each other as I was walking away from the water. And I said hi to him, and I kind of walked past him, but then I retracted because I was like, well, wait a second. There was like a friendly face, a friendly opportunity, an opportunity for me to maybe get some information from this person, maybe just to like have a casual conversation. And I was like, or also like this person might speak straight up Spanish and I really might not be ready for that. This could be like really embarrassing. This could really this could be like chaotic and like worst case scenario. I was just like, I just laugh it off, So instead of it being scary, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna attempt and I'm gonna allow it to be what it wants to be. And if I need to laugh it off, I always have that option. So I go over and start talking to him. Sure enough, he speaks English. He actually grew up next to a Canadian family and he practiced English all the time. So anyway, he was a local and he sure enough was a surf photographer. And he was really interesting just to talk to and to kind of get the lay of the land. And later that day, we had connected on Instagram. He sent me a message with a picture that he had taken of me before we even started talking, because I was up by the shoreline. And it was just sweet because had I not connected, had I not put myself out there like that, had I not just kind of like leaned into like trusting and saying worst case scenario, laugh this off, like I wouldn't have had this connection with this person that then led to like, oh, here's a picture of you on your first day when you got here. Like, what? So that is a lot of this, this is a lot of like feminine magnetism and like trusting it and inner knowing, but also having just like, it's not just feminine, it's also balancing it with your masculine. I felt safe and secure within myself to be able to go do a scary thing and say, worst case scenario, I just laugh it off. And then yet again, creating community and meeting someone who I then like saw the next day or so, just on the street. So that's just like the first example that I have of kind of leaning into and using, your feminine energy, but really this like trust that's built from within. And so I want to talk about this like transition that I went through from my Airbnb, very cushy, easygoing Airbnb, to an apartment that I also serendipitously kind of came across as I was looking for a co-working options, and someone had posted in a co-working group. And I went and saw the apartment. I was like, great, I'll take it. This is it. If you're on YouTube, you can see it behind me. And I wasn't quite ready for that transition. I mean, I wasn't not ready, but just the way that things happened, like they had definitely happened for a reason, and definitely like there was a contraction for a reason. But here's what happened. Went from having like basically everything that I needed to then like, oh, this is what it's really like to live in Mexico. And this is like I'm like really reestablishing myself, which now I see as like such a good thing. It was not comfortable going through it, but I made it out alive. We will make it out alive. It's just not getting stuck there. It's not getting stuck in these, could have gotten stuck in these thoughts of like, oh my God, it would just be easier to go home. Oh my gosh, why did I sell all my things? Why do I, I don't really, and not that I don't have an option to go home, but like I don't have like a place to go to. I could stay with a friend, but anyway. So I take my things from the Airbnb to this apartment, and all of a sudden I am like, holy cow, I need so many things. Like, because I needed to set my own structure and my own, like safety and security and the things that make me comfortable in a place. So I'm looking at this apartment and I'm like, okay, there are like some basic necessities, like some kitchen things and whatnot. And like, mind you, this is like midday. I had, checked out of my place, came here. I need food, I need clean water. I would prefer to shower. I'm also like day 3 of my period, so I'm feeling a little emotional. I'd also stayed out the night before, just a little later than normal, like midnight-ish, just because it was like Mexico Independence Day. But actually, through staying out late, I actually had met a friend of a friend, and he quickly became a very good contact, a very good friend, like a person to lean on. And so again, but just fast forwarding, like I'm in my place and I'm like, oh crap, I need like all these things, and I don't feel that great. I had kind of this like sinus headache that was happening from like the rain, and I think just like being a little run down and all the things. So I'm like, okay, where do I start? So my neighbor takes me into town and drops me so I can just get a taxi back, and I'm trying to figure out what home items I need. I'm like, okay, I would like to get my own pillows. Like that would be something like very bougie, but kind of a necessity that I would like to have. And I was like looking at the pillows, and I'm just like the labels, I'm just like, everything is in Spanish. I'm just like starting to feel overwhelmed. I am like, should I have eaten first? Maybe I need a coffee. Like, I don't even know. I don't feel that great. And I just am like, oh my gosh, galore, like everything is overwhelming me. There's like music playing in the store that's also making me sad, and I'm just like, holy shit. And I was kind of feeling alone. Like, no, I was not kind of. I was definitely feeling alone. While I had met some people, I like wasn't quite ready to like lean on people that much. Oh boy. So I'm also looking at all this stuff that like I want to buy, but then I'm like all of a sudden a little afraid of this like huge investment in like putting my life here in Mexico. And I'm like, what if it doesn't work out? Like, what doesn't work out? I don't even know like what I was thinking wasn't going to work out. It's still showing itself to me, right? And then I'm like, I have to get all these things, and I'm going to take them back in a taxi. Like, how's this ever going to work? Kind of freaking out. So I was like, what are the basic things that I need? I was like, I'm here. What do I need to feel comfortable? So this is like the masculine energy, like wrangling in the chaos. What do I need right now? Basic necessities. I was like, I need a towel so I can shower. And I would like a comforter, like something for my bed, because there were sheets, but I was like, I like to sleep with weight on me. I was like, I would like a comforter. So I find these 2 things, and I'm like, okay, I'm on my way to the next store, carry them and go to the next store that has, it's like a Walmart, but it has like kitchen stuff. So I start getting some kitchen stuff, but I'm like, shoot, like I need a lot of stuff, but like what can I get away with just like right now? So I get a few things, and I'm like, okay, I'm on my way back, get back, and I'm just like even more tired, more exhausted, hungry, still no water, and like transportation is kind of an issue. So I'm like, well, I could walk somewhere, but again, I have like little to no energy. And I'm like, okay, I know that I just need food now. But I reached out to the friend that I had made the night before, and I was like willing to ask for help. I was like, hey, what are you doing? I knew he had a motorbike and could like take us around or whatever. And so I was like, I'm sad. Oh, I didn't mention this, but I'm like bawling at this point, like talking to my friend. I'm like kind of like I just can't believe how bad my body feels. This headache, again, the hunger, all the things. I just want to shower, like, ugh. And so I kind of have this breakdown, and I'm like, okay, baby steps, one thing at a time. It's like feminine energy, asking for help. How can I ask for help? I'm like willing to be vulnerable in this moment. And, like, again, just putting myself out there and allowing myself to lean on community. So I asked this person for help, and he's like, yeah, I'll come get you, let's go to lunch. So thank God, he picks me up, takes me to lunch. I'm feeling better after I get some food. And he saw me cry, like a stranger, someone I had just met the night before, saw me cry, and like I was telling him like all this like chaoticness that I was going through, and he kind of reminded me, like control, you can only control like so much. And I was like, yeah, I know. And so it's just this like leaning into your feminine, to allow yourself to be vulnerable, to not hide your emotions, to allow the emotions to come through you. And what's crazy is that like that was like just a reckoning for me, was like, okay, like I'm here now, I'm investing in staying here, I'm setting more structure here, I'm putting things into this apartment that I might just leave here, or that like I don't know what I'll do with at the end of all of this, but we'll see. Again, it's like a day by day thing. I want to be able to predict things, but like that's kind of like my old self, like always trying to predict and take the safe step. Now I'm very much in like trusting flow energy. Again, get the basic things I need, safety and security from the masculine side, and then be able to flow and trust from within that, being able to allow things to unfold, to be able to hold myself and my energy and not have to know the next 5 steps, but maybe just like the next 1 or the next 2 that I could do, but I could always change my mind at any time. So this reckoning of this like total chaos actually started to bring about like creative solutions. And even the next day, oh my gosh, yes, this is where the creative solutions come in. The next day was like a Saturday, and it just rained all day. And if it rains here, most people take motorcycles or motorbikes or scooters everywhere. And there are taxis, but then of course when it rains, everyone, like all the taxis are kind of taken. And so my plan though had been to like, okay, get food and then come back and like put things together, maybe go to the store, yada, yada, yada. But it was just raining. And I did text a taxi guy that I had his number, but he didn't text me back in time. It was like 20 minutes later, and I was already like, had packed all my things and was like, okay, new plan. Food at the cafe. I sit there, I do a few things on my computer, and then from there, I'll go to the market and like hopefully it's not raining. And so I do just that. I get almost to the cafe pretty wet, because I walked there with like an umbrella, and by the time I get there, I need to cross one more street, and this street is just covered with water. It's just like a river. And I'm just like, oh my God, I came all this way and I can't even cross the street because my tennis shoes are already soaked. This river of water is like straight up red, sandy, clay looking water. And I was like, do I just give up right here, right now? And I was like, no, we can't do that. We came this far. We're so close. Probably I could have hopped in a taxi, but I'm like, didn't really want to do that. So this motorbike comes down the street. I wave him down. Complete stranger, right? Motorbike comes down the street, and I'm like, okay, I don't even know what I'm going to say to this guy, but I just need to ride across the water. Wave him down. He's got room on the back of his bike. I'm like, hey. I probably said something in Spanish. I don't really remember at this point, but enough to get by. I feel like the Spanish really comes out when I like really need it, life or death. It's not life or death, but in like the moments when you need it the most, you get the most creative with the words that you know. And sure enough, he was like, yeah, hop on, took me across. I don't think he quite understood where I was going because he passed it. And then I was like, wait, stop. But I made it. I was wet, but got there, got some food, all was well. And like had the chaos like not been there, like I wouldn't have this like great story to tell. I wouldn't have this great like learning of like getting creative. I wouldn't just have this like self-awareness of like it's gonna work out, like there is a way. And I do believe in all possibilities exist, so of course there's always a way. And I just love this beauty of seeing this like contraction, expansion, ebb and flow, you know, chaos, creativity. And even that evening I was like, again, it's still raining, and I finally had like showered, was home, had some food, and I messaged again like my new friend, and I knew he had access to a car, which is like most ideal because obviously it's raining. And I was like, we should go, let's go have fun at Walmart. And he knew like exactly what I meant because he knew I needed some stuff for my place. And we were able to go, and I was able to again like lean on him and not feel guilty about it, and not have to like, I was just like, this is what I need right now, and like I'm asking for help, you know, like just being vulnerable. And it just felt really good to be able to lean on that connection and to again like be vulnerable, ask for help. I don't have to do it alone. This like feminine energy of building community, I'm seeing it so much here in Mexico of we're actually not really meant to do a ton of things alone. And I started to really see the contrast this past few days of community versus like individualistic mindset. And I love the community here because it is helping me lean more into my feminine energy. Because back in the States, when you have everything within your apartment, your house, whatever, you need community less. And like sure here, like if you are very well off, you'll have like your own, it'll be like the States. Like it would just be like that Airbnb that I was at. It like I have everything I need because I can afford it. And it's just that's not really like the authentic way here, because that was like a tourist spot. But like to be in the community, to be part of like the local scene, like I don't have my own washer dryer, so like I go and I outsource that, and I go to the laundromat. Everyone else does it too. You have a guy that brings you jugs of water. I could have a water filter if I wanted to invest in that. And it's just like every time we do something on our own, it's one less opportunity for community and relationship building and connection. And so I really just love here how that's just like built into the way of life. And again, breeding more feminine energy, more people to lean on, more community to build. So let me check my notes here. Just this like reminder of like when you're in a place of chaos, when you're in a place that feels like you're spiraling down, how can you lean into your feminine energy with vulnerability, with feeling your emotions, not stuffing them down and saying that they're wrong or bad, or that you shouldn't feel them. And because you're meant to feel them, because it's meant to breed creativity. It's meant to be felt at a soul level so that your soul can then like expand. And how can you take care of how you are being? I mean, I think that's part of it, is feeling your emotions. And then on the other hand too, setting your minimum structure of masculinity for safety and security. Like, what is it in this moment that will bring me more safety and security? Is there something you need to eat? Is there something you need to maybe do or get? Is there an ask you need to make, like a willingness to like be vulnerable? That's kind of playing on the feminine as well, but like being able to take action within that vulnerability, and leaning on someone, community or otherwise. And it just provides so much more flow once you feel at ease with safety and security. You're balancing your feminine and masculine. And really what I started to realize, like, I was like, okay, after like all the chaos, which was a lot of like, required a lot of feminine energy, but then also I was like, still building the structure with my masculine energy, so that all these things are going on at the same time. I realized once I was settled and sort of like through the thick of it, I was like, okay, I'm feeling more and more like I belong here. I'm feeling more and more like my energy is coming back to baseline. I'm through the most chaotic piece. Now I can focus on other pieces that I want, to grow. I was like, wow, I really just built the foundation that the foundation for what? I'm not even sure, but the foundation for life here, the foundation for building community. Like, I have now established myself here to this point where my nervous system is now regulated and knows like what's what, and feels good in my own space, and has my own space to expand, and knows who to lean on and what community strings to kind of like pull when I need. And this is like this same, like, I call it like feminine foundation of balancing your masculine and feminine, trusting yourself, leaning into the process of this chaos that's in creativity, the ebb and the flow, trusting that it's all working out, trusting in yourself, giving yourself self-love, and allowing yourself to constantly check in and like, what is it that I need? What is it that I need right now? And how can I get it? And also, even just being present, allowing yourself to just be, and maybe not even like judge the moment, but allow what it is that is being shown to you teach you something. I'm part of like my self-awareness practice. I like to just say like, what is life showing me right now? What's happening? I go through expansion and contraction all the time. And the key is to not block the process. I don't deny that it's happening. I cry a lot. I feel my emotions. And the key is to simply always be like, okay, now I feel lighter. I'm feeling better. I'm taking care of myself. What is this showing me? And it's not getting down on yourself like, I've been through this before. Why is this happening again? It is this upward spiral, constant new perspective. Why? Because it grows your nervous system. Because it is building capacity to hold more and more and more. Because I also came up with like this, I just felt this as I got here. It's like, everything is foreign. New things are foreign until we're exposed to them. And once we're exposed to them, we get used to them because we start to figure out how to handle them. So this is the same with our nervous system. When we take a step into the unknown, it's unknown until we know it. We can't know it before we know it. It doesn't work like that. So and just growing this capacity, growing your nervous system, which is growing your trust, which helps you lean into and expand your energy, both your masculine and your feminine energy. And the more you can also start to lean into your feminine energy, well, you have your structure, and then you love your masculine, and then you lean into your feminine, and then you can be a little more playful, a little more curious, because you have this inner trust, safety structure within you that allows you to be playful and curious. And that is what builds magnetism. That is your magnetism, your ability to play, to create, to flow, to be vulnerable, to be willing to do things scared and laugh them off if you need to. Your ability to create community, to connect, that is magnetism. People feel it. I have made friends here so fast. People tell me, I like having a conversation with you. It feels good. That's it. And I was actually pleasantly surprised, but actually not shocked, but pleasantly surprised at how well I was able to, how many people, which is a handful at this point, because I still haven't met that many people, but of the people I've met, a majority of them, we have gone deep conversation quickly because they ask good questions. Like, they ask me like what I'm into, like what, they're just asking, and I could have said this, that, and the other, but I'm like, I'm into energy, consciousness, relationships, dating, how people relate to each other. I'm like, tell me more about that. And it's like, people get so interested, and then they start talking about their own experiences, and I have no doubt in my mind that I had magnetized a certain type of community, been in touch with a certain type of people, because of the way I choose to lead and live and play in my life. And having just this perspective of always knowing there's going to be chaos and creativity, contraction and expansion, and allowing yourself that awareness of the process that it's going to continue to happen. There can't be more expansion without contraction. It is building our capacity for more expansion, more of what we want. We must have contraction. Okay, this went a little longer than I expected, but I hope that lands with you. A few things. Trust that it's all working out through the challenges. The challenges are what bring the excitement, your stories, the lessons, a chance to learn something, a chance to stay open, a chance to surrender. Another thing I want to remind you of, discomfort and unknowns. This is a reminder. When you feel this way, it's a reminder to connect to your soul level of trust, to being from love and being in this co-creation of life. And tend to your body. I always say body first, always. And tend to your body with sleep, self-care, food, soothing affirmations, leaning on others for added safety and comfort as needed. And, move your body, work out, be in nature. These are grounding practices. Self-care is grounding practices. Sleeping is a grounding practice. Like, allow yourself to tend to your body. Because when you get out of your head, you can feel in your body, you can feel where those emotions might lie. They might need to be expended. And so release your emotions, and that will allow your body to feel better, which allows your mind to think clearer, which allows your mind to stop spiraling, which allows yourself to then be like, okay, I'm on this path of trusting. Okay, babes, I hope that landed with you. There's going to be so much more coming on Feminine Foundation, but I wanted you to have this awareness of chaos, creativity, how to lean into your masculine and feminine, how to use your energies, how to stay open to possibilities, trust yourself, and trust that it is all working out, because you are going to get through anything that feels like a challenge, anything that feels painful, anything that feels like a contraction. Okay, my love. Send me any DMs if you have feedback on this on my Instagram at Lauren Likes It Like That, or you can comment below on the YouTube video if you're watching this on YouTube. We'll see you next time.